Long before roads were paved, before churches and schools stood where ancient shrines once lived, there was a Yoruba village called Ayetoro. Ayetoro wasn't known for its wealth or its warriors. It was known for its drums. These were not ordinary drums. They were talking drums, drums that spoke messages older than memory itself. They announced joyous marriages. They warned of approaching danger. They echoed the will of the ancestors. In Ayetoro, no major decision was ever made without their rhythm. And everyone believed one sacred truth: when the drums speak, the ancestors are listening. Ayetoro was born to no title. He was simply the son of a drummer, a man whose hands were rough and calloused from years of beating sacred skins. From a young age, Ayetoro listened more than he spoke. He learned the complex language of the drums the way other boys learned to hunt. He could feel when a rhythm carried joy. He could hear sorrow hidden inside a celebratory beat. When a drum cracked, it was he who repaired it. When a rhythm faltered, his hands corrected it. The elders noticed his skill, his innate connection to the village's soul. But respect could not change his blood. A drummer's son was still a drummer's son. In stark contrast, Moronkeji was born into power. She was the only daughter of Chief Ogunlana, the Baal of Ayetoro. From the moment she took her first breath, her path was decided. She was taught how to kneel properly before altars, how to greet them without ever raising her eyes, how to wear a smile even when her heart resisted. Glimmering gold beads circled her neck, and fine royal cloth wrapped her body. But beneath the surface of this perfect princess, Moronkeji carried questions inside her silence. She often escaped the confines of the palace to sit near the giant Iroko tree, where the sacred drums were kept. And that was where she first noticed Ayetoro. At first, it was nothing. Just a glance held a moment too long. A smile quickly hidden. But the drums, they noticed. Every time Moronkeji came near, Ayetoro's hands would slow, the rhythm softening. And every time Ayetoro played, Moronkeji felt something stir deep inside her chest, a feeling she had no name for. They never spoke a word to each other at first. Because in Ayetoro, everyone knew the unspoken rule: the chief's daughter does not belong to her own heart. She belongs to the village, to tradition. Their love grew in the quiet spaces, in the silence between drumbeats. Under the soft glow of moonlight, they finally began to talk. Ayetoro spoke of a world beyond tradition, a world of freedom where a heart could choose its own path. Moronkeji spoke of her deep-seated fear. He told her, with a conviction that shook her, "The ancestors gave us hearts for a reason." She replied, her voice trembling, "The ancestors also punished disobedience." Still, they met. Night after night, under the Iroko tree, where ancient roots ran deep into the earth just like the traditions they were beginning to defy. Then, one fateful night, Moronkeji whispered the truth she had been dreading: "My father is choosing a husband for me." Ayetoro said nothing. He didn't have to. Because he already knew. He had heard it in the whispers of the wind, felt it in the tension of the air. The elders gathered. Palm wine flowed freely. The talking drums thundered their approval, their rhythm echoing across the village. Moronkeji, the chief's daughter, was promised to Akinwale, a wealthy and powerful warrior, feared by many, admired by all. The drums spoke clearly that day. Perhaps too clearly. The village rejoiced, celebrating the powerful union. But Moronkeji's eyes desperately searched the crowd. Ayetoro was not there. That same night, beneath the silent watch of the Iroko tree, Ayetoro and Moronkeji made a vow. There were no witnesses. There were no drums. There was only their shared truth. They promised themselves to each other, fully knowing the cost, knowing that in their world, love alone was never enough to save them. The next morning, the drummers gathered to play again, to announce the day's proceedings. But something was terribly wrong. The rhythm stuttered. The message was garbled and clear. A cold fear spread through Ayetoro like a morning mist. And then, someone whispered a lie. A poisonous rumor that took root in the fertile ground of fear. Someone said Ayetoro had touched the sacred drums with cursed hands. That he had defiled tradition for his own selfish desires. Akinwale, his pride wounded, believed it. Chief Ogonlana, blinded by duty and fear of scandal, allowed it. Adebolo was dragged before the elders. There was no proof. There was no mercy. The judgment was swift and final. Adebolo was banished from Ayetoro, to be gone before sunset. He did not fight. He did not beg for his life. He only looked at Moronkeji one last time, a universe of unspoken words passing between them. The drums played as he left a hollow, broken sound that mourned what was lost. On the day Moronkeji was to be married to a kin whale, the village gathered once more. The drummers raised their hands, ready to beat out the rhythms of celebration. But the drums refused to speak. A dead silence fell over the ceremony. They tried again. And again, nothing. Only a dull, empty thud. The elders began to panic, their faces pale with dread. Still, the wedding continued, a silent, joyless affair. As Moronkeji was joined to a man she did not love, her tears fell onto the dry earth, a silent prayer to a silent sky. Years passed. A strange blight fell upon Ayetoro. The land grew dry and cracked. Children fell ill with mysterious sicknesses. The harvests failed, season after season, and the drums, the very heart of the village, never spoke again. Their silence was a constant, deafening reminder of a broken promise. Whispers turned into legends. Some said Moronkeji, unable to bear a life without love, walked into the forest one day and never returned, choosing the spirits over a life of emptiness. Some said Adebolo died in a faraway land, his heart still beating to the rhythms that only he could hear. It was only then, in the depths of their despair, that the elders finally understood. The drums did not punish love. They punished the betrayal of truth. They punished the fear that chose silence when a voice was needed. Today, in old villages where tradition still holds sway, elders share this story, warning young lovers with a heavy heart. They say, do not blame tradition alone. Do not blame love alone. Blame the fear that chooses silence over truth, because once, long ago, love defied the talking drums. And the drums, in their sorrow and anger, never forgave them. Their silence became the loudest message of all. Thank you for watching.
If this story moved you, please consider subscribing for more tales from the heart of history.